Hi everyone, I'm Nikki Boxler out here at Boxler Maple Farm, and I'm going to show you how maple syrup is made. I am out here in the maple woods, which is often referred to as the sugar bush. This is where all of our maple trees are and where the fun begins. So the very first step of making maple syrup is tapping the tree. What does it mean to tap a tree? So essentially, tapping a tree is drilling a hole in the tree in order to collect sap. The attachment on my drill is a precision tapper. It has some prongs on the end which helps stabilize it against the tree, and it helps the bit from wobbling, so less bit breakage, which is really nice. And it's spring loaded, so once you tap into the tree, it just helps pull it out real nice and easy, really saves on battery. We really like them. I know this is what we get asked about the most, so the precision tapper, here it is. Once the tree is drilled, we then put the spout into the tree. So our spouts are connected to drop lines, and the drop line carries the sap to the lateral line, which then goes through the main line. So the blue lines that you see behind me are 5/16 lateral lines, and the main line takes it all the way back to our pump houses. We run a vacuum pump throughout our entire woods, so it takes it back to the pump house to the sap extractor, and once it reaches the sap extractor, it is then released into one of our holding tanks or into a sap silo. Once we have gathered enough sap, we will then come with one of our trucks to pick it up to take it down to our main farm. And now we are only halfway through the process. So once the sap arrives at the main farm, it is unloaded from the truck into other holding tanks and is run through the reverse osmosis machine. So sap, when you look at it, is clear. It looks like water, but it has a sugar content of about 2%. We measure sugar content in bricks, so it's about 2 bricks that are in raw sap. To cut down on our boiling time, we run the raw sap through a reverse osmosis machine. We try to get the bricks up to 25 before we then run it through the evaporator to cook it down and make what is known as delicious maple syrup. We have an automatic draw off on our evaporator. When the syrup is at about the finished product, it draws off into stainless steel tubs, and from there we check the density of the syrup to make sure it is exactly where it needs to be. In the tubs, it is mixed with diatomaceous earth, and what this does is we run a filter press, so when you look at the syrup and it's in the bottle, it looks clear, you can see right through it, you don't see anything floating around. So this diatomaceous earth actually binds with anything that may be floating in the syrup, so that way when it goes through the filter press, it is large enough that it is trapped and contained in the filter press, and then what comes out is the finished product, which is clear, delicious maple syrup. From the filter press, it is pumped into our 40-gallon stainless steel drums where it is sealed and then ready to be sold. So to recap everything that we just went through, first we start with drilling the tree, pounding the spout into the tree. The sap then travels through the lateral lines to the main line through the sap extractor, which is then released into the holding tanks or the silo. It is then transported by truck down to the main farm, run through the reverse osmosis machine to the evaporator, drawn off, run through the filter press, and into the stainless steel drums. And just a little tip for you guys when you guys are out buying maple syrup, if you are in a store and you look at the back label, there should only be one ingredient in maple syrup. Any guesses? Yeah, it's maple syrup. There's nothing added to it. So if you see other ingredients listed, it is not pure maple syrup, and be sure to put that back and grab the real thing. Thank you for joining me today, and be sure to check back often for more sap stories.